The cattle business has always been something I've been passionate about. I've always enjoyed the business part of it. It's what scratches my entrepreneurial itch. I like the marketing, the risk management of the cattle, and watching them grow. Our main goal here is to convert our plentiful forage that we have in this part of Tennessee to beef and market it as the best way possible. We buy calves that weigh from 400 to 500 pounds and try to put 300 to 400 pounds of gain on them depending on the time of the year, market conditions, weather conditions, that kind of thing. We receive cattle usually in the fall and winter. Try to have those cattle and grow them through the winter time on hay and a little bit of supplemental feed. Try to have cattle that are prepared for when grass gets here in late March, early April, and we try to have cattle ready to go by then. They will graze our fescue pasture through May and June. First part of July, that starts to play out. We've been selling our yearling steers that come off in July and August to the same buyer for several years. He'd been sending those to the same feed yard, getting along good with the cattle. He was coming back year after year. 2 years ago when we were negotiating, it came about that they were losing some of those cattle on arrival. These are cattle that we had owned 6 months, been on grass 120 days, not the kind of cattle that you expect to have those kind of problems with. But when you're shipping cattle in mid-July to mid-August and out of the south, out of Middle Tennessee, you're going to have humidity and there's going to be some heat stress. He suggested that maybe we need to look at our mineral program, and that's kind of when light bulb went off that that's probably something that we need to do. Talked to our vet a little bit, and he said that those cattle, they probably had just enough elevated temperature that when they were stressed from a 14, 16 hour ride from here to central Nebraska, that it was causing problems when they got there. And so I did some internet search and got turned on to the GainSmart family of minerals. Kind of piqued my interest, and maybe that's what we need, something that will lower the cattle's body temperature and cut down on some of this heat stress that maybe we're seeing.
GainSmart Mineral is the mineral that we designed, or the mineral program that we designed to help those folks that are starting cattle in pasture situations or in starter or grow yards. We have the GainSmart wheat pasture mineral designed for wheat pasture cattle. We have a stalker mineral that's designed for native pasture. And we have the RU 1600 GainSmart mixing mineral that's made to be mixed into a TMR. Last year we added the heat package into our GainSmart stalker mineral. The heat product's designed to help lower the core body temperature in cattle. In the heat package that comes in our stalker mineral and our cow mineral is a capsaicin product that comes from a chili extract from chili peppers. It works as a vasodilator. Also in that package is natural clove and cinnamon oil, which are known to help with water intake. And then of course we have garlic added into that package as natural insect repellent.
As the weather gets warmer, you get more flies. The cattle become not necessarily stressed, but it's certainly not as comfortable to be out here in 12 noon grazing for those cattle. And so they're going to be less efficient, gain less. They're going to be more concerned with staying cool and trying to make themselves comfortable with staying in the shade and finding the cool spots.
Stalker cattle are no different than your mama cows on your place. When the external temperature reaches 70 degrees on average in a 24-hour period, it starts to affect a beef animal. So especially in the part of the United States where we have fescue pasture in combination with high external temperatures and humidity, the GainSmart heat pasture mineral and our heat cow mineral have been very, very successful.
We tried it on 2 groups of cattle. We didn't try it on everything, but we fed the heat mineral, GainSmart heat mineral, that whole summer. And when the buyer came to weigh those cattle up 1st of August, he could immediately see that those cattle looked better than did the year before in previous years. The cattle that were on the GainSmart were heavier. The cattle that had been on the GainSmart mineral had better hair coats. They looked like they'd been on better pasture, had a better diet, but they were all on the same fescue pasture, same supplemental feeding, that kind of thing. The only difference from one group to the next was the GainSmart mineral.
All of our GainSmart products and all products that Biozyme makes contains Amifirm. Amifirm is our proprietary fed-through microbial. It's considered a prebiotic, which means it's a non-living organism. It's a fungus that we ferment, and Amifirm helps an animal increase intake, digestibility, and absorption of nutrients. But we also know that Amifirm helps with increased water intake in beef animals by 17%. So when you get more water in them as a cooling effect and have something in there that helps the vasodilation to expel heat from their body, it's a really major big deal, especially these guys that are stocker operators that have to ship cattle 14 to 16 hours or sometimes even further to get those cattle there as stress-free as possible during the summer months.
Health is very important in a stocker operation. Managing death loss, managing cattle on arrival. Anytime you're changing up some part of your health program or nutrition program, you're going to look at what it costs, going to look at what it's going to do for you, how it's going to make you money. We're dealing with a pretty defined margin on the front end, and we're going to put the pencil to it and see how we decide to spend those dollars and whether or not that extra expense is going to make us extra profitability. The GainSmart Mineral is providing a better product for our customers in the fact that they have greater predictability in the product they're going to receive on their end, and better performance. Anything that can boost the rumen, get a healthier gut, will get the cattle on feed quicker. On feed quicker means better response, healthier cattle, less medicine cost, better management of our margin.